Training camps for NHL teams began this week, physicals last week. Joffrey Lupul apparently failed his physical. I think we're all kidding ourselves if we're sitting here going, yeah, that's on the up and up for sure. What do you know about Joffrey Lupul's situation? Maybe that you can share with us if you do know more than we do, because, the silence is deafening when it comes to Joffrey Lupul's tenure, specifically in the last year and a half with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Whatever is going on with Joffrey Lupul, I think everybody knew this was coming, that he was going to go on, what we called Robada Island last year. This was predetermined. If they couldn't trade him, he wasn't going to be playing here. And I think that Lupul is a guy is pretty banged up in terms of what hockey's done to his body. So I don't think it's necessarily illegitimate. But what I do think, Dean, is that this one was decided a long time ago.
That he would fail his physical? Like, had he failed his physical probably 4 months ago?
Yeah. I mean, that he wasn't going to play for Toronto this year. And I think he knew it. I think he knew when he left, because I think they were pretty clear with him that he wasn't going to be a Maple Leaf this season, one way or the other. And since they couldn't move him, he wasn't going to play here. And I think all summer long, he knew that's the way it was going to be. And
okay, so let me ask you.
That's the way it was going to be.
Sorry, I'm really sorry to interrupt you, Elliotte, but I got 100 questions, and I've asked you about Lupul last year, and no one really said anything. But not saying anything, everybody said something. How on earth can he be okay with it and toe whatever line Lou and Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment and the Toronto Maple Leafs are telling him to toe by saying he's failed his physical? Because it would appear to me, if I wanted to play and if I had told Nazem Kadri and my pals, hey, I'm excited, I'm working out, excited to get back with you guys, excited to play, which is what Nazem Kadri said he had heard from Lupul. And then I got to camp and they said, you failed your physical. And you're like, well, how is that possible? And if this was predetermined, how is he okay with it? How is he not saying anything?
Well, we don't know that he isn't going to go through a process, right? There's always the chance at some point maybe. Look, like we've seen a situation right now where Jared Cowan initially was cleared, and now he's filing a grievance, right? So, and that one isn't set yet. That one's going to be heard, I think, soon. I think it's going to be early next month. So there's no guarantee that at some point Lupul won't try that and say, hey, you know what, this isn't okay. But for now, I mean, look, if you know Lupul's history, his body suffered a lot of damage playing hockey. Maybe it's legitimate. You can't.
Do you think it's legitimate?
I don't know. I mean, you remember Lupul, like I said, Lupul, his body is pretty banged up from the sport. He's suffered a lot of injuries.
But if you had to put money on it, would you say it's legit?
Can you ask me? Can I answer that in 2 weeks?
Yeah. You'll sit on it.
I know it sounds funny, but here's we're seeing this. They're playing this out right now with Jared Cowan. We had a situation where Jared Cowan. We all thought that there was an agreement there that Jared Cowan was going to go home, and Cowan agreed to it. He's going to go home. He's going to maybe seek a second opinion on his hip, but he was going to use the end of last season to get healthy and be ready for a tryout on a new team this year. And then all of a sudden, right around the draft, we find out that all of a sudden this whole thing wasn't kosher, and he's grieved it, and Toronto and him are going through a process because all of a sudden he was saying, no, you can't buy me out. I'm owed everything because I'm still hurt. So when I say we're looking at answer in 2 weeks, you might be laughing, but I'm just saying, look, we just went through a situation like this where we thought it was all sorted out, and it wasn't.